Hi everyone, my name is Christianati and this is my final project for Professor Adrian Wheeler's class. So I just want to get started by saying I've always had a sneaker obsession. This is something very, close and personal to my life that I want to compare to see how something from my childhood, which I loved receiving, which were a pair of sneakers for every Christmas, can now relate to my career, which is going to be in accounting. So these Air Jordan 11s right here are released every December. They're the same style, but there's always a different color and a little different pattern, or made with, different materials. Like you could see on here, this is leather with some plastic shiny material on the bottom, opposed to something where it's all material and no leather. So I just want to get started by saying that these are the 7210s, these are Pantone, these are Cool Grey and Space Jams. And now these sneakers have always sold out right away within minutes, especially if you're buying them online. If you're buying them in stores, they're you would have to wait online for hours, most likely. So this right here is a website that lists all the Air Jordan 11s that were ever released. So as you can see, here are the Space Jams, and they were released in 2009. They retail for $175, and if you buy them, you can resell them for up to over $600. Now, Nike is really smart about this. They know kids are, especially young adults, are buying multiple quantities of the same shoe in different sizes and reselling them for a markup that is just beyond ridiculous. And you would think that, oh my gosh, how is Nike still making money when there's somebody coming in and selling them for $300 to $400 above retail costs? But Nike is really smart about this, and they know that this is happening, which is why they limit the amount of sneakers that are produced. Because if they just did an unlimited amount of sneakers, knowing that they're going to be sold because a lot of people want them, the value of the sneaker would decrease. If they don't want no inventory sitting on shelves, they want these sneakers to sell out every single time. Like, it's a guarantee for them. Okay, so on top right here, these are actually the real retail prices for the sneakers. The Space Jams were released in 2009. The Cool Greys, I think, were released in 2011, which is why the retail price was only $175. Every 2 years, I would say, the price of Jordans goes up. The 7210s were released last year, and now an average selling price retail for Jordans is $220. Now, just keep in mind, these are in men's sizes. Kids sizes are obviously a lot cheaper, but they're still very expensive, especially when you're buying a grade school child who's probably like size 5 or 6, and you still have to pay $140 per pair, which is, again, a lot of money. So before I get started with how I created a variable income statement, I just want to show you how you can add Solver into your ribbon in case it's not here. So what you want to do is just right click, customize quick access toolbar, go to add-ins, and as you can see, my Solver is already added in, so it's on top. If your Solver is not there, it's going to be somewhere in the bottom. So let's pretend that this says Solver, and all you would do was click go, and then it would come up. But since I already have it, I'm going to cancel it right now. Okay, so now that since we've clarified that and Solver is right here, it's always going to be in your data tab, we can go on into the income statement, which I have created. As I said before, these are the actual retail prices, but these numbers here I've come up with myself. So in a variable income statement, which I just learned how to create this year because I'm taking cost accounting for my major, you always want to subtract your retail price from your variable manufacturing costs and all your variable costs. So your variable costs are going to be your direct materials, direct labor, and variable manufacturing overhead. So once you get that, it's going to bring you to what your contribution margin is. So basically, it's going to be your price minus your variable costs to get your margin, which is similar to like a profit based on each pair of sneakers. And then from your contribution margin, you're going to subtract your fixed costs, which I have right here. Now, in order to get the contribution margin, I just want to show you what the formula was that I used. So it's going to be your retail price, which is right here, minus the sum product, which is all of your variable costs. So then you'll get 220 minus all of these numbers would be your contribution margin per unit, and then we're going to multiply it by D11, this cell right here, which is going to be the quantity. We don't know it yet, so I just currently have everything in 0. Solver is going to plug in the quantity for us. So I just want to continue on. Once you find the contribution margin, you're going to minus your fixed costs. Now your fixed costs are incurred no matter what. So currently no units were sold, so our net income is a negative $205 million. So for us to break even in sales, we need to sell at least $205 million worth of product, which are the sneakers. Although I came up with the numbers for the variable cost, Michael Jordan, who which is right here, a famous basketball player, I'm sure everyone knows him, he's the reason why this Jordans were even created. So he was number 23. So in 1984, Nike came to him and they wanted for him to have his own shoe line. So he's come up with sneakers. They're numbered Air Jordan 1 through all the way through 23, and this happens to be Air Jordan 11. And you can see he's wearing them right here while he was playing a game. His salary really is $100 million a year. This is accurate. The CEO of Nike, he makes about 47 million, but I just wanted to round it to 50. Advertisement and rent, I just estimated them myself. Of course, they have a lot more costs, but I just wanted to keep it simple and give, a rough estimate and a good idea of how their net income is solved. Now, in order to find the net income, what I did was, you're going to add up all of the contribution margins for each product or segment, if you want to call it. And then you're going to subtract it by the total fixed costs, because these costs are going to be incurred no matter what, like I said before. So what I'm going to do right now is go to the Data tab, and we're going to go to Solver. So the set objective is going to be right here, our net income, which is cell D33, and I want the value to be equal to $300 million, just based off of selling these 4 sneakers. So the changing variable cells are going to be our quantity, which I have right up here. So these are the numbers that we want to change. So I'm just going to click that one, comma, this one, the cool gray, and space time. So now what I did was set constraints to these quantities. I don't want more than 1.2 million to be produced for the first pair. I don't want more than 500,000 produced for the second one, 750,000 for the third one, and no more than 820,000 for the last one. So now we're just going to click solve. I'm going to press OK. And as you can see here, to achieve a $300 million profit after fixed costs and all of that, these are the amounts of quantity that needs to be produced for each sneaker. Now this is perfectly fine that these are the amounts that are being produced per sneaker, but remember how I told you Nike has a way of limiting the quantity. So I'm just going to show you right here about how they can do that and still achieve their target profit. So right here is the same concept. So we're just going to go to Data, go to the Solver, and in the first Solver problem, it's the same objective, except this time we're going to maximize it. We're going to make sure it's the same variables being changed, which is the quantity, and instead of having the quantities be less than 1 million and less than 500,000, I changed it. I want the quantity for the first shoe to be at least 1 million, the quantity for the second one, which is Pantone, which is retailed for $500. So of course it's going to be a limited edition. Not a lot of people are going to buy it. So I want at least 200,000 produced, and so on. So we're just going to solve this. Press OK. And now you can see that Nike can limit the quantity that's produced for each shoe while still maintaining the target profit that they want to achieve. So they could really do it either way. They could figure it out by how many quantity of each want to be sold, or if they want something to be a limited edition but still achieve their personal net income, they can do it this way as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.